In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple gluten-free barbecue sourdough. And you might wonder, what do I mean by barbecue? Well, it's quite simple. We're going to use the barbecue to bake the bread. So you will need a Dutch oven to place into your barbecue, but other than that, it's pretty simple. So let me show you how easy it is. For this bread recipe, you're going to need about 3/4 cup of active gluten-free brown rice sourdough starter. And that's about 170 to 200 grams. For this sourdough, I used freshly milled oats and sorghum flour. Sifting the flour is always a great idea. That way you can remove any unwanted larger bits. Then you can add the starter to the flour. And I often like pouring the water that I need in the recipe into the starter cup. That way I can actually rinse out all the yeast and use it in my recipe. And you might have noticed that I did not add the sea salt yet. I played around with adding it at the beginning, and for some bakes I added it later on because some people say that when you add salt at the beginning it actually can affect the fermentation. So for that reason I was just kind of playing around to see what I liked best. So when you try it at home, you can do the same. For your first loaf, try it at the beginning, and then the next time add it at the end, and then that way you can compare it to see what you like best. And once everything is mixed well, you're going to cover your bowl and let it rise for 2 to 5 hours. And if it's a warm summer day, it might only take 2 to 3. I tested many variations in baking methods for this very simplified loaf, and the version I'm sharing with you today is my favorite because I felt that the flour combo and the baking method worked the best. I will have some notes in the recipe post for overnight ferments or freeform loaves or substitutions even, but again, what I'm sharing is what I felt worked the best. If you enjoy videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. A few hours later, you can expect your dough mixture to be light and fluffy, and it's actually the perfect time to add the sea salt. After your dough is well mixed, you're going to transfer the mixture to your parchment-lined baking pan and just smooth it out so it creates a nice looking loaf. And I just realized that this Dutch oven is going to be way too small because I won't be able to place the bread pan into it. So I got my larger Dutch oven, and it's going to be perfect because then I can place the bread pan directly into it. But for now, I can let the dough rise a little bit longer while I preheat the barbecue and the Dutch oven. Oh, and let's not forget, adding seeds on top is optional, but it adds a really nice touch. To begin, I recommend preheating your barbecue and your Dutch oven on high. A grilling mat or griddle will be perfect to place underneath in order to protect your Dutch oven. If you don't have one, an old baking sheet will be perfect. For the actual temperature, I try to shoot for around 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and once it's preheated, then I lower the temperature that's right below my Dutch oven, and then I keep the other elements a little bit hotter to circulate the air. But if you don't have a thermometer on your barbecue, just make sure it's nice and hot at the beginning and then lower the temperature during the baking time. After 20 to 30 minutes, your Dutch oven and barbecue should be nice and hot. And then it's as simple as baking your loaf for 20 minutes covered and 20 minutes uncovered. And at this point, don't forget to reduce the heat right under your loaf to low because you don't want to burn the bottom of your bread. And then the other elements can just be set on medium, and that will help just lower the temperature a little bit because right now it's a little bit too hot. Keep an eye on the temperature throughout the bake, but after 20 minutes you should be able to remove the cover, and be careful, it will be hot, and then continue baking for another 20 minutes. Using your barbecue to bake in the summertime is a great idea when you don't want to turn on your oven and warm up your whole house. A few weeks ago, I baked these lovely tarts, and they were so good. I baked them for the same amount of time I would have in the oven, except I did it on the barbecue. If this loaf is not right for you, please keep in mind that I have other recipes on my site that might be better suited for you. Today's loaf, the barbecue one, does not have psyllium, does not have flax. It's basically gluten-free sourdough starter, a little bit of flour and some water, and then that's it. Once it's baked, it's the type of loaf that can be enjoyed pretty much right away as soon as it's not too hot. But this bread will be very hard and almost dry the next day because of the very few ingredients that it does have. It doesn't mean it's not good, it just means it's a very quick and easy way to make a sourdough loaf that might be right for you, but that your husband or your kids might not like, but it doesn't matter what they think, because if you're doing it for yourself, and again, if you have food sensitivities or if you have allergies, your dietary restrictions might not let you eat a lot of the ingredients that are okay for others. So this might be best suited for you. And you know what? If you can consume psyllium or flax, add some in the recipe. It'll just make it better and more moist, and it will last a little bit longer that way. But I will make sure to include all the tips and tricks and details in the recipe post. And if you have any questions before you make this recipe, let me know in the comments of this video and or the comments of the actual recipe post. After 40 minutes, your loaf should be ready, and you definitely want to take it out of the pan and let it cool for about 1 hour. My kids are home, so just a quick heads up that the last few clips have background noise. Alright, so my little barbecue loaf is ready. It smells really good, and you know what? This is the loaf that you don't have to wait overnight or like 4 to 6 hours for it to cool. You can just wait, I'm not kidding you, like an hour, and you can probably slice it. But to confirm that, I will go ahead and slice it right away, and I will show you what it looks like inside. Because it doesn't have psyllium or flax, it doesn't have that really sticky texture. It will be a little bit sticky if you cut it while it's still warm, but look at that, it's fresh. Come on guys, it has like 4 ingredients. I used oat flour, I used sorghum flour, I used water, and I used a brown rice sourdough starter. And that's it. And then today's loaf, I put sesame seeds on top, and that's it. I did include sea salt though. I don't want to forget the salt, but I added it just before baking it as I showed you. But I'm gonna slice a little piece. This is probably the loaf that you would want to bake, you know, a couple hours before you want to eat a meal or serve like a stew or a soup and enjoy some bread with it. This would be perfect for that. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. I was going to say, if you're enjoying it slightly warm, it's probably the best way to eat it. Waiting the next day, because it has so few ingredients, it will end up being a drier bread for sure, but if you slice it and make toast with it, that would be okay. But if you want to enjoy warm bread, this is a great one to try. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and watch the easiest gluten-free sourdough starter recipe, and then come back and make this lovely loaf. And once you do, I want you to give me some feedback, so don't forget to leave me your thoughts in the comments, and like, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.